Howdy folks, my name is Trace and welcome to Rifle 102. Today we will briefly be going over how to zero your rifle, building a good platform, and some skills to help you understand height over bore. But before we get to all of that, as we always do, let's go over the 4 rules. 1. Treat every firearm as if it's loaded. 2. Never point your muzzle at anything you do not wish to kill or destroy. 3. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. And 4. Know your target, what's behind it, and all around it. Now that that's out of the way, we have to ask what zeroing a weapon means. To be entirely reductive, we can define zeroing your weapon as making it so that your aiming system and barrel point at the same point in space. Given that we are talking about 3-dimensional space, we are going to achieve this at a certain distance from the muzzle. This is because your barrel and scope don't occupy the same place in space. Having a known distance, which our system is zeroed at, also tells us where the projectile will hit below or above where we are aiming. We won't be getting into the topic of infinite holds, as that mostly pertains to lasers. Additionally, we won't be discussing the difference between near zero and far zero. We won't be talking about case loading, barrel length, caliber, optic elevation, or humidity, because we can really get into the weeds on any of that stuff. So what we are actually going to focus on is quickly getting an acceptable 100-yard zero out of our AR-15 with the common modern red dot under standard conditions. So let's talk about how to zero a sighting system. Most sights will use a metric called MOA, which is a minute of angle. Again, we aren't getting into any weeds today, least of all trigonometry. So to simplify, an MOA is an inch at 100 yards. So if your point of aim remains the same and you adjust your sighting system's elevation 2 MOA up, the point of impact will be 2 inches higher at 100 yards. 1 inch higher at 50 yards, and 4 inches higher at 200 yards. Pause this video and do that math for 25 yards and 150 yards. Now do it again, but for windage adjustment that is 1/2 MOA left. We'll just end this topic by advising that you bring your sight's manual with you to the range. Not only will it tell you how to operate your sight, but it will also include what tools you'll need to adjust your sight as well as the click value. To save as much ammunition and time as possible, you will need some gear and a plan. As far as gear goes, you will need your rifle, a sighting system, your sight adjustment tool, a paper target stand, some zeroing targets, the brand and load of ammunition that you most often shoot, staples, and tape. Some items that make this process easier are a spotting scope, the manual to your sighting system, a bipod or backpack, a stable shooting platform, and some shade to shoot from is nice as well. Set up your target at 50 yards. This will help you get on paper faster and save ammo. If you still can't hit paper at 50, then move the target to 25, but make sure you account for that distance when you make your adjustments. Now create a stable platform from which to shoot. While aiming at the bullseye, shoot a 3-round string. Unload and clear your rifle, place it on safe, and call a cold range. Then go downrange and check your group. If you have a sufficiently powerful scope, you don't have to call a cold range or go downrange. You can just check it without crossing the line of fire. Evaluate your 3-round group and determine the center of the group. You want this center point to be directly below the bullseye by half your height over bore. For the sake of brevity, let's call that 1.5 inches. Pick a plane, whether windage or elevation, that is the most off target, and note how many MOA it is off, accounting for the distance that you're currently shooting at. Calculate how many clicks it will take to adjust your point of impact and where it needs to be at 100 yards. Go back up range, call hot, make your adjustment, and shoot another group of 3. Repeat this until you have one plane dialed in adequately. When you have one plane dialed, repeat this process for the other plane, but remember that we are zeroing for 100 yards at 50 yards. If your target becomes so full of holes that you can't tell which group was from which string, then dress and refresh your target. Awesome! Now the center of your last 3-round group is 1/2 your height of a bore below your point of aim. Move the target out to 100 yards and repeat this process with the same point of aim. But now your desired point of impact is the same as your point of aim, not below it, because you're now at the desired zero distance, not halfway to it. It is critical that you do not shift your point of aim when zeroing. Always aim center. Don't move your reticle, adjust it. If you are spotting for a shooter, call out the zeroing adjustments in MOA and let the shooter do the math to determine how many clicks it will take at your current distance. If you are being spotted, trust your spotter's calls. Some marksmanship skills are also pretty useful when zeroing. Ensure that your weapon has a natural point of aim directly at your target so that you're not having to apply any muscular effort to stay on target. Shoot at the bottom of exhalation, but don't hold your breath down there. You need to remain comfortable. Get a good cheek weld and a good stock weld. Keep your feet flat on the ground if you're sitting. If your forend is adequately supported without a hand, then your support hand can help fine adjust your aim by grabbing the stock with your palm on your breast. Consistency is key when zeroing, so set yourself up to take good shots. Well, that wraps it up for zeroing. Up next in Rifle 103 is reloading and malfunctions. Have a great day.